Hello everybody, I am going to show you how to make this beautiful wrist corsage today using this beautiful white rose, heather and gypsophila. So everything that you would need for a wrist corsage is here. So to make a wrist corsage, we've got the scissors. These are good for cutting the ribbon, and these ones are good for cutting the flowers and the greenery, and these ones are very good for cutting wire. Sometimes I use them and sometimes not. And these wires, I'll show you this thickness. This one here is the thicker green wire, which is good to have, and these thinner rose wire. And then you've got two different types of tape, which I've shown you in the last video as well. And I said this is the one that I prefer to use because it doesn't stick to your fingers. And we've got some ribbon that you can have for a nice bow at the front of the flower. And then we have a wrist corsage bracelet here, and you can buy these online. If you type in wedding wrist corsages or pearl bracelet, floristry, corsage bracelets, then you should be able to find them online. And this is some greenery that I got from the garden again, and I love these type of leaves and the hebe, and there's a little bit of heather. And you've got some ivy, so this again will cut down all the costs a bit. And you just need one piece of hard ruscus, which you can buy from a flower shop, or you might have this in your garden as well. And we've got a lovely white rose with a slight green tinge as well. And then here we have some gypsophila. You can get two different types. This one, I prefer this type because it's a lot fluffier and it looks a bit more wedding-y, so it's very nice. And here is the greenery that I have selected to make this wrist corsage. And to start off with is we'll take these scissors and just cut the bit off like so. And it's just a small part there. And then you can take a little leaf off and just try and cut it as close to the stem as possible, because you need this little bit here at the end. And then I've got a couple of longer, taller parts here and different shades too. It's nice to have a different shade so it doesn't all look the same. And here I've just pulled that off with my fingers because it's quite light, and you just take it from there like that. And I'll just show you how to wire these. So the first one here I'll choose, and then I just put that down, make sure it's tight, and start to wrap it round like that. And then you just hold that there and pull it down. Now I'll just cut a little bit more off of this. The aim is to make these as light as possible. They're so much more easier to attach if they're light. So again, the same technique there, wrapping it round and then pulling it tight. This one is slightly different. I'll just cut that from there. And then to wire this is different as well. So you just pop it about here, pop it in about there. If it's too high up, I feel that you can see the wire, but everyone is different. Some people like to put it here and then bend it, but I prefer to do it here myself. And then you have to hold that. Don't do it, you have to be really gentle because you'll rip the leaf. And then you just wrap it round again very tightly and pull it down. that's another one here. This one's slightly larger. Now this should be enough. You don't want to have too much. So some leaves there gives you an idea. And then what you want to do is to tape them. So I'll just push that away slightly so you can see better. And you take it here, you place it at the just over the wire there, then you pull it slightly at an angle and then you twist it, keeping it very tight. So there you go. And then you just pull it off like that. And don't worry too much about this because we'll sort that out later. And again, the same technique. You hold it on the wire, then twist it and pull it at an angle. And there you go. And then the same for the leaf. And the little one here. I can probably put a wee bit more tape there actually. And then again, twisting it. So that should be all set with this, looking like so. And here are the flowers that I have selected, and I'm going to start off with how to wire the rose. And well, to start with, you can see these green parts around the edge. You just quickly take them off from the stem right underneath. You want to get as much of that off as possible so you don't see it. And that all just came off at the same time there, so that's great. You want to make it really clear lines, clean lines even. There we go, that's enough. And then you want to cut that about, I'd say, is that just over an inch, just to start with. And then with this heather here, you want to cut that maybe about here. So you've got just short or of a centimetre or thereabouts. And then with the gypsophila, you want some wee bits, so you just pull that like that, just gently, and then you can pull it again like that. And then to wire these, I'll just give myself one more bit there. There we go. So to wire these, I'll just take another bit off. It's always good to cut down rather than cutting too much. And then what you're going to want to do is just hold that really gently so you don't mark the rose. And you want to put that in the middle, like that. And just till you feel like you can't push it really much more, I would say that's enough. And you can always go like that and put it in a tiny bit more if you feel it needs it. Just make sure you don't see it at the other side. And then what you're going to do, just to secure it that bit better, you just pop this wire through. So pierce that through there, like that. And then it's a similar technique to earlier. You pull that down and you wrap it around. Pull it tight. And then for the heather, just take those little bits off there. And then putting that straight straight and wrapping around. And for these bits, you can cut a little bit more off, and then you can wire that in. And you can even just bunch a couple bits together if you feel that, oh, it's not quite enough, just put 2 bits together. And wrap it round again. Again, I'll put some bits together. Cut that there. And wrap it round. Make sure it's really tight. Again, that's a slightly different technique there, but you get the idea of what I'm doing. And so we want to tape all of these so you don't see the wire. And I can cut this with these ones, with these pliers. And similar to before, we hold it, pull it slightly, pull it at an angle, and wrapping it around. So that is all the flowers that I would need, and we are going to now attach it. And for the bow at the front, I've chosen this white ribbon, and it's got wire at the edge so it can give it a nice shape. And so I'll just cut that at an angle. And then I pull that in there, and then I have it at the back there, and then I just hold it at the back and pull it in as well. And then again for the second bow, you can use this finger just to make the loop, and then pull it in together again. Whoop. Just like that. And if you feel, you can make them bigger as well. If you like them big, you can have a second one like that. I'll just have the one. And then you can just cut that at an angle. If you didn't get it quite right, you can just quickly do it again. And the wire that you need to hold this is the thin rose wire. And you have it like that, place it in the middle, and then you fold this round, and then you pull it in here, and then I'm going to twist it so you get it really close to the bowl, so the bowl does not fall out. And then all you need to do is go like that. And so to start making it, it's nice to always have a point at the back. So I will choose, I think I'll go for the ivy. In fact, I've changed my mind, I'll go for the ruscus. And this one here, it's quite nice. So, and then I will tape them together. If you find it easier, you can do one piece at a time. The aim is to try and not make this part too thick. So I don't want to put too much in. I can pop this at the other side, and I'll just hold it together and wrap it round, as long as it's holding. And then I want to have some of the jip as well. nice to have it coming down, or you can even have it right the way around, like that. And then I'm going to just add a tiny bit at the back here actually. There we go, it just fills in that gap. So we've got a slight gap here. So I've got some nice hebe. There's a different texture. There's quite a lot of different textures, which looks really nice. And then this nice silver leaf here. Can pop that at the front, and then it just starts to take a bit more shape. And if I just bent that there like that, so it's supporting the flowers. And twisting it around again. And I would put this bit in, but I think it's going to make it too heavy. So what I'll do instead is I'll use one of these leaves at this side, and then I'm going to put the bow in at the front, like that. It's just fallen out there, but I just place it back in. These ones are a bit more fiddly. So don't worry if you feel like it's taking a bit more time to get it together. And so I've got that there, and I quite like having these coming down. That's a really nice point, so that can come over. And then I've got another one. I'll just put it slightly underneath it, like that. And then if you feel like you need another one, you can bend that like that, it won't snap if you do it gently. And so you've got the two different colours on either side. And then for the last bit, you just hold it at the top there and wrap it around, twist it around. I'll just do that again to make sure it's tight. Now, I also want to change this slightly because this is too long. You're wanting it to sit on here. So what I tend to do is I get these, and you want it really short. You want it only to about here. And that's too many layers for me to cut there, so I'll just... Sometimes actually I might have to use these. There we go. So technically that should be the other way around, but never mind. And then you don't want to have this showing, so you tape this again. And this, again, this will be a bit more difficult because now you've got a lot less to hold. then to get it over the bottom, you just pull it down slightly like that, and then you fold it over there. And then you can do that twice if you want. And then pull it back up again. And then you pull it like that. And it's got this little pointy bit, and you just go like that. You fold it over. And squeeze it in, push it in. There we go. So that is the main part done. And for adding it, for putting it onto the bracelet, now you'll see it comes like this. So what I tend to do is just unravel that slightly. Well, unravel it all actually. And then you'll see that you've got 4 pieces of ribbon here. And what you need to do with these bits is you need to tie them. So you have to tie this one and this one together. So that's the bottom 2, okay? Or the top 2, you can start whichever way you want, but you need to tie the 2 that are opposite one another. And then what I tend to do is put a double knot on there. Just make sure it's tight, you just pull it like that. And then you've got the other part here. And pull. You can get bracelets with wire that come up like this, but I tend that this ribbon here holds it on better, and it's a lot easier to hide. So once you've got the bracelet tied, then this bit's a bit more tricky. So you just place it on the bottom here, over the middle, and you take this one. Now you need to put it through. You don't want to put it over like this because you're going to damage everything. So just lightly weave it through what you can. Just gently weave it through. And there it should come out the other end like that. And then you have this other end up there, at that side, so you've got these 2. And then you just put a knot in it and you tie and pull. Make sure you're not catching the leaves, and you just pull it as tight as you can. And then again you want to tie it, do another knot. Make sure you're not catching the leaf at the side, and then, so I can bring this up to you now, and then just pull really tightly. What we want to do is have it like that. This one here is around the stem at the bottom, and you just pull really tight. And again, you want to do another one so it definitely doesn't come out. And you pull. Now you've got these long bits here. This bit here, you can see it doesn't look very nice, so I'm just going to cut it. And it's quite nice just to have them hanging down sometimes, because if you do have white ribbon, it doesn't clash. And then you can still see the stem. So all you need to do is, if you put a 3 up at the top, you just take the bottom one and you fold it over. And you take this one and you fold it over again. And then you can fold this back a wee bit more. And then you take this one here and fold it back as well. and then if you feel that you want to cut these off, you just cut them underneath the leaf. Again, you cut it under the leaf there. And then you can hide that other one if you want to. And then there you have the wrist corsage. So it's very nice on the bracelet here, but you may be wondering, how do you put it on the wrist once I've made it? So you just put your one hand through like this if you don't have anyone to help you put it on. And you just push your hand through really gently so it doesn't, you don't want it to flip over. And then you can even just slightly pull it. And there you go. That's it attached on. I look forward to showing you my next video where I will be making a bride's bouquet. So please subscribe.